Hello and welcome. My name is Laura Welzenbach and I'm the head of Ars Electronica Export. Today and now we have a special guest, or two special guests actually here with us today. It's Anna Kaufmann and Sonja Greuß with them talking about their game Generation Y. Before we look into that right now, or before we meet them in person, let's check out the trailer. Now we want to learn more about the game and we welcome Anna and Sonja here in our studio online. Welcome Anna and Sonja.
Hello. 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 Thank you for having us.
Thanks for being with us and thanks for being here with us in the studio today online. I would jump right into the first question and would ask you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit how you know each other and how the idea with the game came up and how the collaboration between the two of you started.
Of course. Well, I'm Sonja, and I don't know if Anna is on top or left or so. This is Anna. And we are former classmates. We were together at the Higher Federal Institution of Graphic and Education and Research in Vienna, a graphic design school for graphic and communication design. And yeah, that's how we met. And well, our game is based on the topic of digitalization. And we were introduced to that one by school lectures and trips, actually. And one of them being the media convention, Republica in Germany. I don't know if you've heard of it. But yeah, there we quickly became very interested in the topic of digitalization and therefore decided to use it as our school diploma project, which is the game Generation Y. And yeah, in the end, we just wanted to make this tangible context for the topic. Well, it was our aim to conceptualize and design this game and yeah, focus specifically on the topic of technology and what it might mean for our society as a whole.
Nice. So it was a school project, a diploma project to be precise, that kind of like wrapped up your school career in 2019, right? Is that the right year that I have in mind here?
2018, actually. 2018. Yeah, 2018 it was.
Yeah, it's been quite some time.
Yeah. Yes, that's exciting, actually. And we will see in a little bit also like where it went from there. So if you want to tell us a little bit about the game itself and the design, the main narrative and the goal that you have with the game and the themes that you picked up. You described it a little bit already, but yeah, you have different characters that you play with there. Maybe you want to tell us a bit about the narrative of the game.
The narrative of the game is basically, over the years, the big data company Cryptoconda has become so influential that they managed to basically replace the government of our time. And Cryptoconda systematically collects data through the innovations, which increasingly restrict society's privacy. And so it came about that a group was formed. That's the second formation of the game, which is called Generation Y, opposes this monopolistic power of Cryptoconda through protest and demonstrations. But Cryptoconda's employees have crept into the group of the players to destroy this resistance, and it's now up to Generation Y to kind of decide the outcome of the game. Will they be able to shape digitalization in a positive way, or is Cryptoconda unstoppable? And yeah, that basically will be decided during the game. We were inspired by big data companies of our time, and we also we live in a world where we can hardly imagine a world nowadays without digitalization, and hence it's not only important. It is important to not only focus on the benefits of digitalization, but also bring the downsides of the digital age into discussions. And that is what we wanted to achieve with our game, basically. Yeah.
I also really like how you pick up activism as a tool for the general public to do something about this issue and just to really become part of a democracy in that sense, through organizing amongst each other. And it's like a playful manner how you manage that through the game. The cool thing that I learned that you developed this year also an online version of it, because it started as an analog board game, which is really nicely done, and you developed further an online version. I was wondering if you maybe want to share like some impressions with us about how it looks like and how it feels.
I'm going to share my screen now, so you can see the Miro board version of it. Oops. Yeah, that's our Miro board, the game board.
And also based on cards, but on a board, online.
Yeah, and you can basically all the stuff you can do in real life, you can do on here as well. We just had to tweak a little bit. We had to tweak the game's mechanics, because in real life you're going to vote with your fingers basically, and every round a card is drawn that Cryptoconda wants to implement, like that, for instance. Motion profiles are going to be made publicly accessible, and then players select or vote for protest leaders, and they do so by, at the start of the game they have to write down their names, of course, and then they have their tokens which they can vote with, and they can now after this card is drawn, they need to vote the protest leaders, and they are not supposed to vote on themselves. They need to vote other people, people who they think they can trust, because it's always the danger of having the wrong people, so to speak, or the Cryptoconda people in these protests. And then after the vote has kind of has been done, they then get those two cards, the protest cards, and they have to decide if the protest should fail or if it should be a success. And they choose a card, and then they give it to us, and we then see if the protest was successful or not. And then then on the progress bar, that it represents the actual the current power balance between those two parties. And then you can, depending on the percentage of the card, you then can turn over turn over 2, 3, or 1 plate, so to speak. Oh my god.
Just select the color.
You switch the color in the power bar, and it goes either to one entity or the other. So we have the protest movement Generation Y on the one hand, and CryptoConda employees who pretend that they are on the side of Generation Y, and they are then acting more or less as in the role of a protester and try to convince the full group that they are also on their side. But on the back end, behind the hidden cars, they may vote differently. And the group needs to find out who wins the protest and who doesn't.
That's very true.
It's really cool. I also like the power bar a lot because it says a lot about the general issues we also have in society when it comes to power shifts and redistributing power. And in that sense, it's also nice to see what it means when different entities get to different power levels, which can then go on one side, and in the next game it can look already different.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Change very, very fast.
Yeah, and we actually we also kind of explain the different terms of that are or that play into the topic of digitalization. We explain things like predictive policing or social credit system. That's the kind of educational add-on to this game.
That's also super important to distribute like these different terms and just make them more aware of what they actually mean, and to educate people or the players then about the dangers of these systems that some powers do put in place. That's important.
You can learn while playing, so it's not really that you notice it, but at the end of the game you know so much more about it. So
that's a good one, definitely. Learning and playing at the same time. Do you want to show us anything else on the board? Do you have some special features that you want to share? Or should we jump right to the next question?
We can jump right to the next question, I guess, because everything that you need to play, you actually see right on this board. The only thing that you don't see, because we have to or had to change it from analog to online, is that you get your character cards sent to you. So they don't, you don't see them on the board, but you get one, and you have to keep it secret. This is why they have been sent to you privately. And yeah, you play that character then.
Yeah, that is cool. That is really cool. So you can make sure that no one else saw your card by accidentally walking by and spying into your little role that you have. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing the online version of your game. The graphic design, all done by you, which is also really nice, with the character cards that players then receive. The cool thing how we got in touch is through Create Your World. One of our previous presentations that we show in the Facyl festival here in Salamanca was also already like talking about Create Your World and what it does there. So we know already that Create Your World also has its own competition, the U19 Ars Electronica. And I was wondering how it got your attention, because you then applied, and that's how we got in touch. And now, like 2 or 3 years later, are still working together. But let's start at the beginning. Like, how did the Create Your World got your attention, and how was the submission process there for you?
Well, actually, Anna did a lot of research online on competitions, and our teachers also motivated us a lot to commit to or submit our creation. So this is how we found out about Ars Electronica and also submitted to U19 Create Your World. So mostly through our teachers, school, and, well, Anna.
Thank you, Anna. The cool thing with like being part of the U19 competition is also that people from very different levels of awards and nominations are possible, and you received the award of distinction for the festival in 2019. So 1 year after you completed your game. The nice thing that comes with this is that you are invited to the Ars Electronica Festival to also participate in the U19 exhibition. You've been part of that as well. How was that experience for you, presenting your game in an exhibition context and also getting in touch with visitors directly?
Yeah, it was very, very exciting for us. Addressing the festival first, it was absolutely breathtaking to see all these innovative creations from people all over the world. And it was pretty fun to decorate our own little exhibition stall within the festival. And yeah, we also felt really honored being able to attend the Prix Award. So yeah, all in all, it was a blast, and being able to experience the game with complete strangers and also how they each reacted differently to it. And yeah, since our game is still in development, we also managed to gather valuable feedback from them. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, I guess like the festival definitely gives a very special atmosphere where you have your own little booth and people come and go and are able to interact on various different levels with the game right there. Cool that you got some good feedback from that.
We did. It was so much fun playing the game with the people that came and also seeing all the other projects there. It was very inspiring as well.
Was it your first time at the festival?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good kickoff. Be right part of it from the very first beginning. That is definitely the right first start with Ars Electronica. The beautiful thing about the festival was then it was only a next step for us to collaborate. We have a format that's called the Create Your World Tour, where projects from the Ars Electronica Festival are adapted for school contexts. The amazing Create Your World team behind Hans Christian Merten and Marion Friedl then also got in touch with you for that. What happened then?
We've had a lot of exciting opportunities thanks to Ars Electronica. For example, once we held a presentation in which we also played our game with school teachers. And another time we were able to present our project during the Polsphere Game Changers Festival in 2019. It was also very exciting, and there we also got a lot of great feedback from the jury. And overall, it was a great experience and still is with now with our workshop. And this year, as we were asked to participate in the Create Your World Tour, and therefore, adapted our project, as I said, for a workshop, which can be held online as well as in person. Yeah.
And that actually got us to get the online version for our game, because before that one, there was only the analog game.
Yeah.
So that
very interesting also to work together with students and also get their points of views on the topic of digitalization. So it was very beneficial in both ways, I'd say.
Yeah.
So also one outcome of the pandemic that we had to work on digital solutions for the original digital analog game. And it was amazing to see how you just put it into the virtual world through Miroboard, through some open source tools that are available, and find solutions for directly sending the cards, for example, which makes it a really nice experience then also online, because you're somehow in touch with the players before they have to prepare to get their little secret notifications before they then come together on the virtual table to play the game. That was really nice.
But we need a lot of help, because we actually wanted to make an analog game precisely because we wanted to tackle the topic of digitalization in a completely different aspect. Because digitalization is pretty much always online or most of the time. And that was why we wanted to make an analog game. But getting the analog into the digital world again was also very fun. Had its tricks, but I guess we did quite well.
I can definitely see that, also because of the success of the game. You also already had like different presentations at the festival with teachers and other people who might be interested in it. And it's now still a format that we offer in our Create Your World Tour format. So it can also be like taught or like played in different places. Through the online version, which makes it just like much more wider and the reach much more easier. So you don't need to travel in every little city that you would teach or like play the game together with the pupils. It's also really cool. I have one last question for you. That's the next steps question that usually comes or that often comes at the end of interviews like this, because I think it's so wonderful to see like school brought you together to make this diploma project. It put you on a journey that you might not have even like imagined when you were designing the game. Then these like different steps in between came, and I guess it's even hard to say what's next because who knows what's gonna come up. Not only because of the pandemic, but also because of the world just being the world. But do you have plans? What are your ideas and new collaborations for upcoming projects and proposals?
Well, currently we're still working on enhancing our game dynamics. That's one big step that we also want to take. And there are so many different directions we could take the game. So we're still looking into it and also tweaking the game dynamics. And during the Game Changer Festival, we also acquired a contact called Rudy Games. And it's a publishing company for hybrid board games. So the possibility of maybe getting tips on how to combine analog and digital elements are still something that we think about and also want to acquire more information about. And well, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, our dialogue is now on hold. So we're still thinking of self-publishing the game, but also haven't decided if we still want to work with a publisher. So it's somewhere in the future that we might decide.
And so the game is definitely a project that you still collaborate together as a duo, as a art project or a creative interaction project, and exploring new hybrid ways. I think it's really fantastic to see this process, as I said before. And it was also my absolute pleasure to talk with you today here with this interview that will be shown in Salamanca. And with no further ado, I say thank you so much for being part of this wonderful project. And I hope many more adventures come.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for taking your time with us.
We'll be in touch.
We sure will. It's always a pleasure.
Always mine. Bye.
Bye.